of Hope Coast Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for We Pick 'em, our segment where we look at games and give you our picks. Barry, it's an all hardwood edition. NFL season's over, so let's get right to the basketball. Let's start with Oklahoma State's men heading to Texas on Saturday. Who you got in this one?
Well, I've got the Cowboys, but I tell you, when you watch Texas play, if you just look at their guys, they look like a typical Texas team. Bunch of big, strong athletes, bunch of tall guys that can run and jump. You just wonder what happened to the Longhorns. Rick Barnes, for 15 years, has put out quality teams, but this year the Longhorns are a dud. They really don't have any continuity, don't have much fundamental play, just not a very good basketball team. But boy, they've got athletes, so they won't be easy to beat. I think OSU's on a mission. I think they've sort of revived their season. They're not even out of the Big 12 title hunt. I think Cowboys get it done in Austin.
Yeah, I do too. Texas off to a really abysmal start in Big 12 play. Yeah, just losing all sorts of games. Gave Kansas a good game, but ultimately loses. Just not winning basketball right now for Texas. So, and that's changed Oklahoma State even with road games. Even though this is on the road, and before that game at Kansas, I don't know if I would have picked Oklahoma State to go to Texas and win, but now it seems like they may have gotten something figured out. If you can go to Kansas and win, you can go anywhere and win, and they came back with a hard-fought victory against Baylor. I think they go to Texas and get the job done. I think Oklahoma State's definitely heading on a good trajectory right now. What about this game, Barry? Oklahoma, talk about Kansas, host the Jayhawks on Saturday. Who are you going to take in this one?
Well, I'm going to take the Sooners, and I wouldn't have a week ago, but all of a sudden Kansas is down. Kansas is like sort of the fighter who gets popped, and you think, boy, that was a good shot, and then they get popped again, and you say, he's down, he's hurt. Kansas is down. Kansas is hurt. This is not a team that was number one in America just a week ago. This is a team that has perhaps the biggest upset in Big 12 conference history. Kansas losing to TCU, a terrible team, a team destined to go 0-18, beats the Jayhawks. I think the Jayhawks are primed to lose to the Sooners. I think Alon Kruger gets it done, and the Sooners beat the Kansans.
You know what? Heading out of that game against Oklahoma State, I thought TCU was going to take the brunt of Kansas's loss, but now I think it's Oklahoma. And I know Kansas has got problems. They're clearly not one of the great teams in the country. They're not going to be considered a Final Four team, whereas a week or so ago you could have said, hey, I could see Kansas in the Final Four. Now, some of the problems that they were able to overcome earlier in the season have started to bubble up. Turnovers. They're not getting great play out of Elijah Johnson, who was an NCAA tournament hero for them last year. So they're definitely seeing some issues, and they're seeing those issues become losses. But I think against Oklahoma, they get the ship righted. I think Bill Self is he's going to be going crazy these next few days, getting these guys ready for this game at Oklahoma. I think they'll be prepared, and I think they'll win that road game on Saturday. All right, Barry, what about this Bedlam women? It's a Sunday game between these two teams, in-state rivals. Who you got?
Well, I'm taking the Sooners playing in Norman. Cowgirls, frankly, have disappointed me. They've not played well the last few weeks. Had a home loss early to Tech, now a home loss to West Virginia. Have had a couple of unfortunate road losses. Not just that they lost, but the way they lost. I think in Stillwater, Oklahoma State probably gets Oklahoma, but I think in Norman, I think Sherry Cole's bunch gets it done, wins Bedlam.
I'm going to go with the Cowgirls in this one. They have had some disappointing losses, but I think we saw, Oklahoma, you mentioned Oklahoma State losing to West Virginia on home court. Oklahoma goes to West Virginia and really gets throttled by West Virginia. So losing to West Virginia, it looks like they might be coming around, so I'm not so sure that that's as bad a loss as it once looked like. But Oklahoma State still like their athleticism, still like their depth, and that's one of the things that Oklahoma is going to continue to struggle with as this season goes on. Those injuries that they sustained so early in the season, even before the season, I think just continue to wear on them as they're playing with such a short bench. I think Oklahoma State gets the job done, but it'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch on Sunday. All right, Barry, last two games. Let's go with both of them Thunder-related. Next week on Tuesday, Thunder goes to Utah. Who you got in this one?
This is a great matchup because this is a very solid chance that this will be a first-round playoff matchup. The Jazz are 7th in the West right now. The Thunder's 2nd. Thunder might get to 1st, but the Jazz could fall to 8th. So decent chance you'll see Thunder Jazz in the first round of the playoffs. And if you see that, you're going to see a sweep because the Jazz, they're not equipped for the Thunder. Thunder's a terrible matchup for Utah. Utah's strength's got some inside scoring with Millsap, Al Jefferson. Well, the Thunder's excellent defensively in the interior. The Jazz has no one on the wing for Westbrook and Durant. Great matchup for the Thunder if they get Utah. We're going to see that Tuesday night.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Thunder wins this one on Tuesday night after a couple games against the Suns. And it's interesting. I'm not saying that this trade's going to happen, but there's some rumors floating out there that Al Jefferson, the Jazz's big man, might potentially get traded to the Spurs for a couple of different options and players out there. But if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen before the Thunder plays them, because it seems almost impossible the Thunder plays a team that they have everybody at their disposal. So why not? If it's going to happen, look for that trade to happen before that game on Tuesday night. All right, lastly, Barry, let's spin ahead a little bit to next week, late in the week, Thursday. It's Valentine's Day, but it's also the day that the Thunder and the Heat renew their rivalry. What do you got in this one?
Well, I think I'm going to take the Thunder. I think, the Thunder, if you remember way back on Christmas Day, Thunder goes to the Heat. Thunder had a chance to win or tie at the end, and that was, with the nation watching, big spotlight. So the Thunder played well that day in Miami. Now they get the Heat here in Oklahoma City. Thunder's on more of a mission this regular season than is the Heat. I don't necessarily won't necessarily pick the Thunder over the Heat in a potential NBA Finals. But here on Valentine's Day, this holiday series, Christmas Day, Valentine's Day, I think the Thunder gets it done and beats LeBron and the boys.
Yeah, I think so too. I think after what happened on Christmas Day, you're going to see the Thunder come out really wanting to get this season series evened again. Obviously, what happens in the regular season has little impact on what happens potentially in a playoff series, because playoff ball is so different than the regular season. But I just think for their mindset, they're going to want to come out, play well, perform well, beat Miami, not see the series already, season series advantage go the Heat's way. So I think the Thunder's going to be playing really well. I think there's a chance they get to that game on a really nice winning streak, feeling good about themselves. I think they're going to win, but boy, is there a better way to spend Valentine's Day than watching the Thunder and the Heat?
So.
I don't think there is. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.